double looked at. Same here. Let me also say that it's, I hope you understand how fortunate you are to have John representing you.
Absolutely.
I remember him when he was a young city councilman. And he is a member of an extraordinary congressional delegation that we are lucky to have. And I hope
we get another Greek in this soon.
she's not, but she's Greek the way Kitty's Greek. I mean. But I also want to say thanks to you folks. And you'll hear more about this, even though Kitty is going to be grinding her teeth, because you've got to listen to this rant of mine. If it hadn't been for folks like you, who understood the importance of grassroots organizing, we probably have another Republican governor.
Yeah.
And I remember when DeVal came out to see us, you know, I teach at Northeastern, as you know, most of the time, but difficult though it is, Kitty and I drag ourselves out of New England in December. I teach at UCLA in January, February, March.
It's terrible.
Terrible burdens on me to do it. And I got a call from DeVal, who had been a partner in my old law firm. So I got a board meeting out here in Orange County. Want to come out to see you? Came out to my office at UCLA. I said, "What's up?" He said, "I want to run for governor." This is in March of 2005. I said, "Look, you're a good guy, but
you can't win."
Incumbent Attorney General is running for governor. Why don't you run for Attorney General? He said, "Because I want to be governor." It's a pretty good answer. So he said, "So what do I have to do?" I said, "Well, I'm going to give you the same short speech I've given all the other folks that try to succeed me. None of them listen. Good people, they listen." He said, "We have 2,157 precincts in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and beginning right now, because next February there are going to be caucuses, right? You've got to go out and recruit 2,157 precinct captains. And they've got to be responsible for making contact, personal contact, no phones, folks. I'm not a big phone guy, with every voting household in their precinct." He listened, came back to Boston, called Phil Johnson, the state chairman, said he was the best grassroots guy in the state. Phil said John Walsh was applicant. Hired John as his campaign manager. And thanks to you and all of us, including my dear wife and myself, who went out and were block captains in our neighborhood. First time I've been back out on the doorbells, John. It was wonderful. He won my 21 percentage point.
Yeah.
Even though Healy must have outspent him, I don't know, 3-1 in the last
Yeah,
7
it was.
weeks. And she tried to Willie Horton him.
No kidding.
And it began working, in case you forgot.
Right.
So how come it wasn't successful? Because there were 10,000 of us out knocking on those doors every day to make sure that it didn't happen. Now, John, we didn't do that in 1982. You know, we had a great primary campaign, and, well, the consultants said you don't do that in the final. Folks, we've got to organize every one of the 200,000 precincts in the United States of America. That's what we got, 200,000. 200,000 precincts, that's it. Nobody's going to tell me we can't do nationally what we did here in the Commonwealth last year. But the DNC's got 5 million contributors. That's not a bad pool, John, right, from which to recruit 200,000 precinct captains. But I'm serious. Now, I wish I could tell you that and I think we've got a great field of candidates. I don't think any one of them gets this. Now, they all have marketers and media people running their campaigns. Now, that's important. Strategy's important. But there's no substitute for what you and people like you did all over this state last year. So I hope we can go to work on this so that we will not only increase our margins for Congress, John, but get people like John Summing in the White House who not only reflect the kinds of values we believe in, but can work with this Congress. I mean, part of the problem with trying to get anything done in this Congress is that you got a guy in the White House who I think is a hard right ideologue. I'm sorry. You know, at first, the sense you had was that Bush was a guy that kind of reached across the aisle with the Texas Democrats and so on and so forth. Anybody who vetoes a bill to extend health coverage
That's true.
to the children of working parents of moderate income who aren't fortunate enough to be employed by somebody that provides health insurance. Anybody who does that has to be mired in hard right ideology. Of course, you know, it's the government that's going to provide the funds. Folks, I don't know about you, but Kitty and I have been on Medicare. How long?
A year and a half.
Any of you are on Medicare? Pretty good, isn't it?
Chuck, raise your hand.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Well, Part B, I don't know about Part D.
Yet, well, Part D was crazy. And Giuliani,
Oh,
about 2 weeks ago, lambasted the Democrats for their health plans and must have used the word socialism 35 times. I mean, most of you weren't born when Harry Truman was president, but I remember when Truman proposed universal health care. And it was Bolshevik medicine, it was communist medicine, it was socialist medicine. Folks, we got a lot of work to do. But I'll tell you, if what you did in 2006 isn't a model for what we've got to do nationally over the course of the next 12 months, and I don't know what is. So, there's a lot of work to do, but I'm convinced we can do it, and we've got to go out and do it. Anyway, as the guy who kind of started politically in the Brookline Democratic Town Committee in 1960, wish you all the very best.
Oh, man.
You're the heart and soul of this party. It's great to be here, and I don't know what to say about Wal-Mart, but I am a big Costco fan. He'll tell you that our kids threatened to do a Costco intervention on me last year.
take your card.
Look forward to seeing you, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.